there are some things that other people just can't see that apparently we can see. And I think it's visual light. The spectrum of light, the bit you can see. I think we can see that, and there are some people who just can't. And I'm not talking about the actually blind. I'm talking, of course, about leftists. Because I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what we could do to convince them. It's over.
Yeah, there is no convincing them. It's just an existential fight. We're just going to have to, there's no talking to these people.
And I'm talking about immigration on this topic, but we'll get to that in a minute. I have an announcement to make, of course, being Calvin Robinson is joining. And you can use code CRUSADE for 50% off gold tier for the first 3 months. And that'll get you access to not only the show, but to be able to send him video comments. But of course, you can access all premium stuff for just the £5 a month. Sign up. If you are going to send him video comments, do say, "Dear Calvin, my father, my only father," in the intro, and then we'll know it's for him. There we are.
Put some choir angels in the background playing.
Get creative, is all I'm saying.
Fun.
So let's get into it, because the Labour Party put out this, and usually I don't give a crap about Westminster politics if I can help it, but this hit a nerve, because this is just some Twitter post saying, "Under the Conservatives, dentistry isn't working," accompanied by an image, and the image has been rubbed out quite a bit. You can notice.
But there are so many dentists in that queue.
Yeah, it's a St. Paul's dental practice in Bristol, and then they're showing you the queue, and the queue is long, and the message being, long queue, therefore Conservatives.
No, I know what this is saying. We've just got too many doctors, nurses, and dentists for the amount of practices. Look, they're all trying to sign up for this one dental practice.
We just need to build more practices.
Yeah, we need to build more dentists. That's obviously.
Are you aware what this is referencing, by the way?
The Labour isn't working poster from the old days.
Have you got that up, or?
So I haven't, but for people who don't know, basically the Conservatives used to run this campaign. There was a bunch of people, I think it was lining up for the dole line to get government handouts, and it was Labour isn't working, and this is famous, so it's a joke on that.
Well, it's not a joke. The reason they've done this is because the Saatchi and Saatchi marketing department, who did it for Thatcher in 1979, have since come out and endorsed Keir Starmer and are working for him.
Well, good God, they've gone downhill.
They've just used their old... They've just used their old poster.
Well, it's also just kind of funny that it's so backwards now, because if that's a famous poster that everyone enjoys, it's like, if you like political propaganda, people buy framed versions of that poster to keep up because it's so famous. But let's have a look, because every MP under the sun for the Labour Party was obviously retweeting this because that's their job, to be a shill.
Because they said, "Ha-ha, we finally got those Conservatives now, ha-ha."
Look at all those people. Yes, average people. Well, here's the full image in question. And you may have noticed in the previous example what I may have noticed, which is the people lining up. For those listening, they're not the most British looking of people in their dress sense or any other sense. And a lot of people notice this.
Doctors and nurses, every one of them, so excited to start their new careers at St. Paul's dental practice.
Now, if they were all Indian, I might believe that, because they're overrepresented as dentists. But they're not all Indians. They're different types. And there's another shot I found online of the same queue, which, again, a distinct lack of Indian ladies who have done dentistry or become a nurse.
What do you mean, Callum? They look as British as you and me.
Well, there's some of them wearing the same clothes I wear on my weekends, which tells me they're not.
Callum, I hate to break this to you, but I don't see colour. I've gone blind.
Do you see fashion? Because that's
I just told you I'm blind, Callum. Because I can't see anything, Callum. Help me.
Should we cut the podcast?
Someone genuinely brought a chair.
Yeah. So this is a video that someone took, and all the left-wing ones were retweeting a version of this video where he doesn't show you the face, like he's walking the opposite way in the queue.
Right.
And then someone walked the way where you see the faces and the things they're wearing and the chairs they've brought. And of course,
I thought you were going to say they were sharing a version where they'd given it the old CNN treatment. Really boosted the white balance.
It's conspicuously diverse, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people looked at the fashion sense of the people involved, and then the other aspects, which might give you a clue as to their beliefs.
How many children were in the...
That was 6 children from that one immigrant family.
I'm glad someone's getting the birth rates up. I'm sure that they'll be learning Shakespeare in no time.
The dentists are starting young these days.
I
mean, good on them. They really do work hard.
A lot more kids in this than you'll find in any English town, but there we are.
It's like waiting outside Glastonbury. I mean...
And it goes on and on and on. I just can't get the brass balls, or maybe the blindness, of the Labour Party out of my head, as they saw this and thought, yeah, this will get the Conservatives. Yeah, look what you've done. Which, I mean, kind of. Yeah, mass migration is their fault. But This is not your narrative. This is Reform's narrative.
I like
This
to
is the
think
far right's narrative.
I like to think whoever posted this original image that you shared of the dentistry isn't working is a secretly based, an infiltrator. He's our guy and posted this out there going like, oh, Labour don't know what's going to hit him.
Oh, we've reached the end.
That went all the way around this road,
Why is she wearing
round
a
the
mask?
corner. Took a minute and a half.
What the hell are you people eating also that you need emergency dental treatment this badly? You're going to be willing to wait in that queue?
So here's the problem.
Also, the caption here. The Daily Heil would have you blame amorphous brown people for that. I hate to break it to you, man.
It's not the brown people even, because of course...
I mean, there were a fair few.
There was a lot of brown people.
But it's not even about that, obviously, because mass immigration comes from all over the world, and we also have a huge amount of Europeans here who want the same access.
I mean, yeah, if it was a queue full of men wearing berets holding baguettes,
give me your health care.
it would still be the same problem.
I am still mad. Why am I doing French? Anyway, but you're right to point out, well, why is it that everyone's waiting so damn long? Well, in the Southwest, I read the statistic before I came on, 99% of dentist practitioners in the Southwest are currently not accepting patients. These are NHS dentistry, of course. Private ones, where you pay money, a lot of money, and they're happy to take you in because they like money. The last time I got I went to the dentist, I went and saw the car at the front. It was a fucking supercar. Like,
really?
Sincerely, like
a Lambo.
Even better, like a one-seat track car that you would only, I don't know, it must cost £1 million or something. The windscreen wiper is just one in the middle. There's one seat for you to sit in.
Are you sure it wasn't Jeremy Clarkson visiting or something?
Is your dentist midnight as Batman?
It may be, because I went in, best service I've ever had, very quick. Dude did some scans for free as well, and was just like, I've got loads of money, I don't care, I do this for fun. And I can tell. You've got to do something in between.
Colour in smiley faces on all of your teeth for fun.
I don't even have a license.
Yeah, he was weirdly mad. But anyway, but the NHS ones, of course, the government-run ones, which still charge you, but not as much, and therefore the salaries are lower, and that's a whole other issue. Well, they opened a new one, being St. Paul's, because St. Paul's got opened, and as you can see here, they offer NHS and private, and they are accepting new NHS patients on the 5th of February, 11 a.m. So this is now day number 3, and if you look it up, that queue's still going.
Oh, really?
I'm not joking. This is the 3rd day of queuing. Because
So they think the Queen's buried there or something.
So what you're telling me is they're finally assimilating to British culture.
maybe.
Beautiful.
I mean, I do love the promotional image here. It's all white girls smiling in sunflowers.
6 month smiles. Is that how long bloody queue's going to take?
Then they're showing you, some teeth and whatnot. And then it's, some more white middle class people with good teeth. And then you scroll down and there's the team. And the team is
yes.
not very white middle class. It's Indian ladies. It's overwhelmingly Indian ladies. And then one white guy.
Welcome to
They
Britain.
used the same picture twice.
They
Scroll back
did.
up.
Wait,
yeah,
they've
hang
used
on.
a lot of
Wait,
Palik Bakahava is also... Oh, no, they just
Oh,
listed it twice for some reason.
Why have they listed themselves twice?
I don't know. They just want to pump up the numbers.
They're really trying to pad out this page, aren't they? Oh, yeah, we've totally got enough staff, guys. Look, we've got Dr. Gary Pradhan, dentist, and then we've also got Dr. Pradhan, dentist.
Lots of parents, lots of good blood. Anyway, but the numbers here I thought were interesting because I did notice. Of the European-sounding names, I found 2 nurses and 1 dentist. Mr. Peter over there, being that one. Is this abnormal? Yes, in case you're wondering, because that's what went through my mind. I found this investigation from the BDJ. I don't know, it's a medical journal.
British dentistry something then.
Yeah. And they were looking at diversity. And, oh God, this was published in 2021, so it's a bit insufferable. So they write in
Might
here.
also be a bit out of date, but we can...
Well, yeah, 3 years. I did find one from the year 2001, which was very similar. And the statistics are that of the dentists, it's an Indian lady who's authored it because every dentist is just... Yep. 72.6% of dentists identify as white, and she says this is a positive shift for those from an ethnic minority background. Her words. So of the white British population, they're 81% of the pop, 72% of the dentists. So they are underrepresented. But there's an interesting caveat to that, because that massive change is recent. It's the junior level, so overwhelmingly ethnic minority, and they're overwhelmingly Indians, and overwhelmingly not Black Caribbeans. So that's the data, as it is.
There really is a lot of pure ethnic narcissism going into that statement, isn't there? Have you ever heard the thing where some women will be like, as a joke, they'll be like, I would never let a straight man touch my hair or a woman touch my hair. It's got to be gay men doing my hair. That's a joke that I've heard. Are these people like, I would never let a white man touch my teeth?
I don't know. I mean, if you're like believing in magic or something, I feel like there'd be a connection there, but whatever. So she then goes on to whine about George Floyd because she's
Wasn't this to do with dentistry?
yes,
Yeah, George Floyd was killed by a root canal.
Yeah.
She says that
If
because
Chauvin hadn't given him that tooth infection.
she says that more is needed, even though that they're overrepresented. That more is needed because George Floyd died for the sins of dentistry. I don't know. You can go. read it.
OMG, look at this video of George Floyd. Throw away your culture and heritage.
I mean, it is just a fact of those of us who go out and read medical studies for whatever reason. For those of you who are doing it, a drinking game. Every time you do get George Floyd mentioned, have a shot because the 2021 is a magical time for these things. Anyway, but that's the
Will
day.
die.
But the queuing. I mentioned the queuing. Well, here's the live update on the queuing because it just keeps going.
There's a live page for it.
Yeah, just like the Queen's death, Bristol Live are running a live chat for the queue. And you can see where the queue starts and people talking about the queue and how the queue's going and how the queue is bad. And
We've
here's the
got
queue.
queue mania going on. Queues everywhere.
Sunday.
Sunday at the queue.
Yeah, it goes on and on. I mean, yeah, there's one of the Labour MPs talking about that thing I mentioned, which is the reason there's such high demand is because people just aren't accepting new patients, and this one just opened. And the reason it just opened is because this person here is claiming responsibility for just opening it.
That's right. I've been behind the queue the whole time, pulling the strings of the queue.
Do you know what's very interesting? You know that map that we spoke about a few weeks ago now, and it was an onward poll that said which constituencies in the UK wanted more immigration.
Yeah,
and
Bristol
it was only
was.
London's. Yeah, Bristol was the only one outside London that wanted more immigration. How's that working out for you guys?
They need dentists. Well, they're strapped for dentists.
So Tara Miran over here, she desperately wanted more dentists to be open. So she is one responsible, claiming responsibility of being part of the team that got St. Paul's open again. Who is she? She's a Kurdish rights activist.
I misread her app. I thought that said turd Tara.
Nope.
It's
Tara.
Kurd Tara.
Yep, Kurdish. That's very close in English. Poor naming scheme.
Race and health equalities. Yep, you're all very equal, standing in that queue for all eternity.
But it's just weird.
It's
It's
an AI image.
she's an Iraqi Kurd who spends her time talking about Ibril. She's living in Bristol for I don't know why. And she just spends her time whining about how I don't know what Kurds are being oppressed. And so we'll go home then. I don't know what to say about this. But she is a foreigner who's needing to open more dentists because we need more for foreigners. That's the reality of the story here. Now, the response to all this I find most interesting, and it summed up perfectly in one chap, who I'm not sure why he hasn't protected his tweets yet, but he hasn't. Mr. John Lewis.
Masochist, I assume.
Now, I don't notice many John Lewis in the queue, but he's deeply affected by the queue himself. He says here, this is utterly effing shameful, but feel free to start blaming all the problems on immigration.
If they weren't here, they wouldn't be queuing.
I don't know what you're on about, Connor. I'm still blind, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
this man, I think we can't be too bullying of because he is a blind man.
Well, he is a dog, so maybe he literally doesn't see
my
colour.
God, yeah.
He can't see fashion either. He doesn't
Yeah, but the
know
dog,
where his owner lives.
the dog would smell the difference.
Oh, come on. Don't need to go that way. I mean, you could literally, the hijabs, I think, are a good giveaway of maybe this isn't the best place in which you find the average churchgoer. But it's not the only one. I mean, I'm not blind, so you can just look at the image. So this being the original image, which showed the same thing as the footage, of course, being that Iraqi Kurdistan is not very British, just saying.
On this image, all the white people I see are police by the looks of it.
That is true.
Which is even more shocking, to be honest.
They turned up to stop the queue. So they said at a certain point, you guys have to go home. The queue's not going to get this far. Come back tomorrow.
You've all had enough fun in the queue, lads. I know you love the queue. We all love the queue, but the queue's got to wait for tomorrow.
Yeah. The location in question, here it is. So that's Bupa Dental Care. That's
Next to the Ahmed Market.
next to Ahmed Market. Now, I'm just saying, John Lewis, I've got eyes. So we're going to have a look around the neighborhood, shall we?
John Lewis is illiterate.
So let's have a look. We have an International Barbers
right.
on the other side.
My high street's full of international barbers. Okay.
A vape shop.
Who owns those?
This is a pub that has been converted into a cafe. So there we are. The pubs aren't too popular around here. Don't know why that is the case.
There was like one random white guy sitting outside of that, caught on camera.
There's the
Sahan.
Sahan shop there.
which looks empty.
There's another.
Liquor Mogul. So that means that you can buy cards to call your relatives overseas.
Yeah.
And even more common than any other kind of ethnic shop, if we turn around, Callum,
We have the Eastern European shop there.
if we go to the other side,
Yep.
we can see
The
a
kebab warehouse.
no,
Even further, shall we?
just a shut down shop.
Oh, is that your definition of foreign? No.
An empty. No, because it's more
Oh,
even.
bugger.
It's even more common than anything else. It's getting more common, as Aaron Bastani of all people pointed out, that
Yeah.
the high streets are empty a lot of the time, unless they're full of foreign shops.
Jamaican. That's lovely. I love Jamaican food, but that's a key factor. You can see here there's a super tonic. This is a barber's.
Oh,
These
that's
chaps.
a very large property for a barber's. I'm sure it's a very reputable establishment.
Well, they're
I
in
mean,
big
it's-
competition with the international barbers down the road. It's fierce. There's Malik Supermarket. Okay.
Also in competition with Ahmed's supermarket.
Well, it turns out that they're not the only ones. I mean, if you go over here as well, you can notice there's another barber's in there.
Two houses, both alike in dignity.
There is then over here you can see Somali food.
Somali Indian.
Wahabari. Somali, Indian, and Middle Eastern.
You know, there's the joke about, oh, but what about the incredible range of restaurants? The incredible range of barbers is the new thing.
Yeah.
Where else would I get my hair cut, guys?
Right. I mean, I could go further down the high street, but I can't be bothered. So we're going to end that there. You can see that once upon a time, there was a different place.
We
here.
were a real country.
That's so depressing.
But there we are. So that's the location. So forgive me, Mr. John Lewis, for thinking that fashion might represent the community or the shops. But I have another thing that might represent the community. The ONS data, because you can just find that. And as you can see here, this is a map of people born outside the UK. So it's a 31.9% for this average. Of course, if you scroll out,
Shockingly low.
you go out to Broadmead here, it's 58% born outside. Smaller over here and 18%. But there we are. That's Bristol for you. That's the city centre. That's the area. But if you go to the white British group, it gets a bit more extreme. So down to 44%. So that's 66% are not white British in this area. And of course, goes even more extreme depending on the specific area you're looking. I mean, that one there.
Did I just see 4%?
That is where
4.3%. Yeah.
that is the exact neighborhood where the dentist is. That's the one we just looked at. That's 4.3%. So there we are. I have made a new version of the graph in case Reform are bored and I want to stop posting pointless things and instead just mark labor because that's more fun. So do it, boys. But there we are. That's the dentist. That blew up. And I can't believe the brass balls or the level of blindness that has infected this nation. If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Epoch series, this episode on Henry III, Part 2. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.